are cooking with Sheila in the Gangsta Goodies kitchen. And so, as I promised some of our viewers, this month of September, it's all about me and you, the viewers, in the kitchen, okay? So, I wanted to show you guys how to make one of my favorite African dishes. It's not my most favorite, but it is one of my favorites. And so it took me a minute to really figure out how to cook this properly. And so shout out to my Gambian sisters, Soma, Annie, Nene. I sure hope, and my Gambian sisters as well. Hattie, Fanta, Fenda. I love you ladies, and I've learned so much from you. And Day, Hule, you guys have been awesome in bringing me in and allowing me to share and teaching me your culture through your food, because you know that is one of the biggest ways we learn about other cultures is through the food. And so when I tell you that the Gambian women have done a phenomenal job of doing that with me, they have. So I love y'all. So I'm going to show you how to make, we call it in the Gambian and Senegalese culture, we call it Benachin. But in West African culture as a whole, it's called Jollof rice, okay? It's, again, one of my favorites. I'm making it with chicken, but you can make it with fish, beef, lamb. You don't have to put any meat at all. But the term Jollof in itself means one pot. So you cook everything in one pot, hence the Dutch oven. And so it is ready to roll. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, actually, I'm going to let that cool off a little bit. Just a tad bit. But the first thing I'm going to start with is the onions. Now, my Gambian sisters didn't teach me to put green bell peppers in there, but I mix onions and green bell peppers in my onion mixture. So it's going to be a little bit of both. But you know what? A recipe is, you follow it, it's a guideline, but then you add your own twist to it or whatever you want to add to it. So I hope you all do the same thing. And so as that is cooling off, I'll kind of tell you what's in it. It has onions and bell peppers, green bell peppers. I've got some fresh garlic chopped up. I've got a little bit of ginger paste, just a little bit. And some Maggi cubes and some tomato paste. And then again, we made it with chicken. We're going to have rice, and then we're going to put it all in one pot, and then we'll go from there. And I'll show you guys, you know, what it looks like at the end when it's all done. And I'm not going to make it too spicy, but it can be made spicy. You can add habaneros. You can have whatever kind of peppers to it you want. I am going to use some ground up powder pepper in place of fresh pepper. So here we go, y'all. So again, the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to add the onions. So I've got onions and green bell peppers mixed up here. So you guys can see what that looks like. And actually, I'm going to add more onions than this because I'm an onion lover. So I'm going to add a few more than that. Okay. And I have, actually this whole bag has more onions and bell peppers chopped up in it. So I'm going to put it all in there. Because what that's going to do is begin the flavor profile for the Benachin, okay? So, once that gets cooking, a little tomato paste on the finger. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and start adding a few seasoning to it. So, this is African yellow pepper. I'm going to put a little bit in there. And a little bit of Slap Ya Mamas. It's one of my favorite, just basic all over seasoning. And a little bit of ground black pepper. And we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of fine sea salt. Not too much. So we just kind of start cooking that. Oh my God, y'all. It's already smelling so good. And I am going to kind of hold it up so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So you'll be like, oh my God, it looks so good. And when I tell you, you will love this dish, you will absolutely love this dish, and so will your family and friends. And I typically, when I cook it, I serve it family style or African style. And what that means is that you put it on a platter and you just dig in. Everybody has their own little corner. Now, traditionally what I've seen happen too is that there's a platter made for the women and children, and then there's a platter made for the men. And then again, you just dig in with your fingers, but you know, until I got accustomed to it, I would use a spoon or a fork, but now I dig in with my fingers, y'all, I promise you. So this is kind of what it looks like as the green onions and onions are mixture is starting to cook. So you can kind of see what that looks like. And I love it that during the month of September, I am doing this solo. So I don't have a camera crew with me. It's just me. So it may be a little kind of different as far as the angles and all that. But you know what? That's how we started this journey anyway. And I like spending the time doing this, you know, just me and you, you know. So, and of course, y'all know me too. Y'all know I got a cocktail ready. So I'm going to take a little sip. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So as the onion and the bell peppers are cooking down, you're probably going to let that cook down. You know, and it's really difficult because I didn't learn how to cook it by a recipe. I learned by being in the kitchen. And oh my God, shout out to Miss Bate, because she was the very first Gambian woman, especially elder, who just wrapped her arms around me, invited me into her home and into her kitchen, and I will never, ever, ever forget that, and I am forever grateful. And so I am cooking this up, and you're going to let it cook. They didn't teach me how to cook it by recipe. That's what I was saying. By recipe. It was watch and learn, and you get the feel. Kind of the same way my mom taught me. I mean, she didn't really give me a recipe. It's like you use a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You taste it, and then you kind of go from there. And so that's kind of how we're cooking this. But I will put the recipe up. And again, the recipe is your guideline. You add whatever it is that you want. Oh my goodness. So now I'm going to add the chopped garlic. And so here we have, I think there's like 3-4 cloves of fresh garlic in there. So I'm gonna add that in there. Okay. And I'm gonna also add the ginger paste. And it's just a little bit, not too much. It's probably about a tablespoon. Add that in there, y'all. Oh my goodness, it's smelling so good. Now, if I had some music, if I could play some music right now, I would probably play a little Houston Door. And so, yes, your girl also knows how to do a little African dance as well. And so, again, my Gambian sisters, you know, I just kind of watch them. You talk about the sway of the hip, but the sway of the hip in a good way, if that makes sense to you. Not a naughty way, not a provocative way, but, you know, just a sway of the hips. And I tell you, nobody, oh my God, can sway them hips like an African woman. I promise you. And to see it in person and live with the drum beat, it is quite the experience, y'all. So I've added the garlic, I've added the ginger paste. And so again, I'm just kind of letting these onions and green peppers kind of do their thing. So tell me, have any of my viewers ever been to Africa? Any part of Africa? Have you had African food? What do you think? Tell us in the comments what you think. We would really, really appreciate it. And I'll tell you, one of our goals in the Gangster Goodies Kitchen is to be to the African continent. And I'm going to start with Gambia because them are my peeps. And Senegal because, you know what? They're right there together. And so, that is to be to that continent what Anthony Bourdain did for other nations. Okay, so I want to educate the world. I want to share Gambian culture with the world through food. What better way to learn who people are and how they live, how they move about than through their food, right? So, because food brings families and communities together one meal at a time, y'all. So this is about ready. I am almost ready to add I'm going to go ahead and add it, the tomato paste. So I took 1 can of tomato paste and we're going to add that in there, okay? Okay. Got the tomato paste in there, and now we're just going to mix that all in. Nice. Oh my God, y'all. This is going to be so good. I can't wait to taste. So what I did in preparation for this is the first thing I did was I marinated the chicken overnight. Then I put some vegetable oil in the Dutch oven, and then I basically cooked the chicken. I cooked the chicken till it was probably about 90% done. And this is what the chicken looks like. Okay, and I just did leg quarters, kind of make it a little easy. And so that's the meat that we're going to put in there. And so here I am stirring this up. And I'm going to add some more spices to this right about now. So one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to add a Maggi cube. And just kind of crumble that in there, y'all. Actually, I'm going to add 2 Maggi cubes. Okay. It is smelling
So the
good.
first thing we do is, first of all, Benachin or Jollof rice means that everything is prepared and cooked in one pot. So I've got my Dutch oven. I put some vegetable oil in the Dutch oven. And now I am cooking the meat that is going to be in my Jollof rice. So I decided to go with chicken leg quarters. And again, I let them cook overnight. I'm sorry, not cook overnight. I let them marinate overnight, y'all. And so now they are cooking. And you see that steam coming up on that camera lens? They are cooking. And so once these are cooked, I will take these out of the Dutch oven. And then I will start my cooking my onions and everything else. But this is what it looks like when I start cooking my Jollof rice, or I know it as Benachin, y'all. So I'm going to be saying Benachin, but you guys will know that I am referring to Jollof rice.
And I'm going to add just a little more seasoning. I'm going to add a little more African yellow pepper. Again, I want it to have a little bit of heat, a little bit of bite, but not too much. A little bit more slap your mama. A little more pepper, just basic black pepper. Oh my goodness. So now I'm going to start slowly adding water. And I'm adding, the amount of water that I'm adding is going to be equivalent to the amount of rice that I'm going to use. So I'm using 5 cups of rice. So I'm going to use 5 cups of water, y'all. Okay. So I'm going to just add in 1 cup at a time. So I'm going to add the first cup, and then I'm going to put some cabbage in there and steam that cabbage real quick. And then I'm going to pull it out and set it aside. Okay, so here's my water. I'm going to put in 1 cup. Okay. Turn that down just a little bit. And then I'm going to I cut cabbage up into little cubes like this. So I'm going to put that in there just for a few minutes, not too long. Let it get a little bit of steam in it because it's going to finish cooking in the oven. I know, right? That's a little different. I finished my jollof rice, my Benachin off in the oven. Okay. That in there. Okay. So I've got the cabbage in there and some carrots in there. And again, we're just going to let those steam for a few minutes. Then we're going to add the rest of the water and then the rice, y'all. And like I said, I put my jollof rice in the oven. So that is not how my Gambian sisters taught me how to make it. But for me, I used to have an issue with the water to rice ratio. And it seems putting it in the oven where I just I cover it with foil, the Dutch oven. And then, excuse me, y'all. Cover the Dutch oven pot with foil. Then I put the lid on it. I put it in the oven on 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. And when I tell you, when that rice comes out, it is absolutely perfect, y'all. So again, we're just kind of doing the onion, not the onions, I'm sorry, the cabbage and the carrots are in here. I'm going to put just a little more water in there. But I'm not going to go over that 5 because I want my water to rice ratio to be right. Okay. Put the lid on for just a minute. And the other thing I do is I always rinse my rice off. And that's already been done. The rice has been rinsed. And I just try to get as much of the starchy stuff off of it. It seems to make the rice fluffy and not sticky, once I'm done. And the type of rice that I use is called broken rice. It's a shorter grain of rice. And that is just because that's how I was taught to make it. Now, I've made it with regular long grain rice, but I actually prefer it with the broken rice. So, and if you're in Kansas City and you're wondering where can you get broken rice, there are 2 places that I know of. You can get them from the Guinean market that's located in the city market, in the River Market area in Kansas City, or the Asian market that is also located in the River Market area in Kansas City, y'all. So, let's see what this is doing. Now I'm going to take the cabbage, because again, this is all going to go back in this pot. And I just wanted to get the cabbage a little steamy. before I put it in the oven. I am looking for some tongs, y'all. Okay, here we go. Got some tongs. So I'm just going to take this because I don't want the cabbage to really cook too much. Just want it to get a little steamy. And these are, the cabbage and the carrots are your vegetables for the dish. Okay. And again, we didn't want them to overcook, so that's why we did it just like that. Okay. And this is kind of what it looks like when you take it, the cabbage and the carrots out. Okay. So now I'm going to pour the rest of the water in there. Okay. And stir that up really good. Okay. Got that stirred up. Now I'm going to add the rice. So again, I've already washed the rice. This is 5 cups of rice. And I'm just going to add it into the pot, y'all. Okay. Turn that up just a little bit. So now I'm just mixing the rice in. And once you get that all mixed in, we add everything back into the pot. Jollof, 1 pot. And so I am going to add a, not a basil leaf. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'll have to grab one. It's not a basil leaf. It is a, damn it, I can't think of it. My mind is like, Anyway, I'm going to add a, it's not basil, it's not thyme, it is, anyway, y'all, I'll tell you what it is when I figure it out, when it comes back to my memory. So I'm going to add everything in here, including the chicken, including the cabbage. So we're just going to put that back in here, the cabbage, the carrots. Now, if I had some eggplant at home, oh my God, I'd put a little eggplant in there too. So add all that back in there, and then we're going to add the chicken. We're going to put it in the oven and let it bake on 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then when we come back, I'm going to get a chance to let you see what it looks like, and I'm going to taste it and tell you how fire it is. And the leaf I was talking about is a bay leaf, y'all. So I'm going to put a couple of bay leaves in there and let it cook low and slow. So we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I am back, and I'm going to get a chance to taste the jollof rice. I haven't made it in a while, but I've been craving it, and so I'm just going to dig in. So we have some chicken, the jollof rice, a little bit of cabbage, and some carrots. Oh my goodness, when I tell you it smells so good, but I'm ready to taste it. I know y'all see that smoking, right? Oh my goodness. And I put it on a platter because this is how traditionally you would serve it, on the platter, and then whoever your guests are or your family, you guys would eat together. And because it's hot, I'm not using my fingers, but normally I would use my fingers. Oh my God. And the carrots are tender, but not overcooked. And I can taste that yellow African pepper, y'all. It ain't no joke. I use just a little bit, but it does have a little spice, a little kick. But jollof rice is supposed to have a little spice, a little kick. Oh my God. My Gambian peeps would be so proud of me because it's so good, y'all. Okay, now I'm going to taste a little bit of this cabbage. So you have little vegetables on the side. And now to taste this chicken that marinated all night for 24 hours before I cooked it for this jollof rice. Let's see here. Talk about heaven. Oh my goodness. I'm going to take another bite. And then we're going to close this segment out. So I'll put the recipe up. The recipe, the method, and all that, the cooking directions, so that you can make it yourself. And when I tell you, your family and friends, not only will they be impressed because it's loaded with flavor, they're going to be like, oh my God, girl, when you learn how to cook this stuff? West African food. It's a West African tradition. No matter which country in West Africa you go to, you're going to find some jollof rice, y'all. Full of flavor, I promise you. Thank you so much for watching. We've got one more segment with you and me in the kitchen. And after that, I've got some other shows that have already been taped and lined up, especially for you. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow, share, like, all of that good stuff. If there's anything that you would like to see us whip up in the Gangsta Goodies kitchen, drop us a line, send me an inbox, and you know what? We'll do exactly that. And by the way, we are running a special on our white Gangsta Goddess tanks. So they are on sale for $15 until they run out. And so that is a great deal because they had been $35. So the summer is over. We might as well get rid of that inventory now. So get your Gangsta Goddess tank on our website, www.gangstagoodieskitchen.com. Click on the shop button, and there you go. Click the white tank, and you can purchase it until they're all gone for $15, y'all. So peace out. Don't forget to follow. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.